the shadows fall. A beast has seized the royal hall. Our king and queen in chains they weep, their fate uncertain, dark and steep. Rise, brave hearts, with swords of light. Through trials fierce, we face the night. With royal guards and blacksmith's might, we march for justice, for what's right. When ogre's war will terrify, snipers aim, the arrows fly. Vikings raid with savage cries, dragons, flames, and fury rise. Buildings crumble, yet we stand. We face the beast on Walden's land. Our blades will carve our hearts defend, till tyrant's reign comes to its end. Rise, brave hearts, with swords of light. Through trials fierce, we face the night. With royal guards and blacksmith's might, we march for justice, for what's right. Summon now the archangel's grace. Her great white wings, her timeless face. She'll guide us through the fiery gate, to challenge, conquer, liberate. Archangel's judgment, pure and wise. She sees our truth beyond disguise. If hearts are pure, our path is clear. The king and queen shall rule revered. Rise, brave hearts, with swords of light. Through trials fierce, we face the night. With royal guards and blacksmith's might, we march for justice, for what's right. In Walden's vale, the dawn now breaks. The beast is gone, the village wakes. With love and honor, peace restored, the king and queen forevermore.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another development stream of Saving Wallden, the pinball game that I have been working on for the past 2 or 3 years. I am Orqata, and I will be entertaining you on today's stream for the next 2 hours. So, before we get into our development of Saving Wallden, just a quick reminder of my current streaming schedule for those of you who want to know when I am streaming throughout the month of April. So, Fridays today, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, is when I stream development of Saving Wallden. And then on Sundays, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when I stream Composer CMS, which is a free and open source website software to help you build and run websites. The schedule is going to last for the rest of April, and then the schedule will probably change come May. I don't know just yet what my schedule is going to be in May, but if you want to get a head start in knowing what my schedule will be in May, then you can join the Discord server. And there I will give you updates as to my streaming schedule, among other things. So just go to orqata.live and you will see a Discord button, which will take you to the Discord server. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into today's development for Saving Wallden. Now, in my previous stream last week, we were working, or at least trying to work on a few bugs for the game. I got hung up on a couple of them because there was not the proper documentation for some of those commands that I needed in order to fix the issue. Unfortunately, I don't have any leads for those particular bugs that we were working on. So we will not be working on fixing those particular bugs that we got hung up on last week, but I am going to look to see what else we can do today. The first thing that I want to do, so we have this issue here. This is an issue that we ran into last week. The names of the images that I use, I don't know why Google Sheets did that. Let's see if I can undo that. There we go. The name of the images that I use for FlexDMD have a particular format to them. Basically, it has like the event number, which is a unique incremental number, that is going to be used as the code number when triggering that particular sequence once we get into developing the pinup pack for the table. Come to find out that a lot of... I don't know where Visual Pinball went. I had the Visual Pinball open before the stream and it disappeared on me. Anyway, I thought I had those images properly named, but I don't. A lot of the images have inconsistent naming. And it's all messed up. And it's going to take quite a bit of time for me to go through and rename all of them and then fix the script. And unfortunately, because of work and other matters, I have not had the time to go in and fix it before today's stream. So what we're going to do temporarily, also I adjusted my font, so hopefully that you can see the code better now on the stream. The only issue is since I switched from Courier to Arial, the ASCII art for Saving Wallden is now completely bored. So I will have to fix that at some point, but that's not the priority right now. What is a priority is that I want to temporarily disable background images for FlexDMD, because otherwise we're going to run into some bugs. Table's going to crash when we test it, and so on and so forth. So what we need to do is go into the JPDMD routine. And for the I'm a little confused by this. We have text 0, text 1, text 2. I think text 0 and 1 must be the... I'm gonna have to look at it again. I'm gonna have to look at the implementation. Okay, text, image, that's what it is. Okay, I needed to figure out the position of which parameter handles images. That would be text 2. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a hack here. We're just going to hardcode text 2 and set it to blank. That way we don't display any background images at all in FlexDMD until I can fix the all of the names for the images. Because if we end up having an issue where we try and load an image that doesn't exist, it will cause the entire Visual Pinball to crash. And we don't want that. Because there is a possibility, and this has happened once before on my stream, because I use exclusive full screen mode when running Visual Pinball tables, if Visual Pinball X crashes, then the player freezes without closing. And what happens is it takes up my entire, both of my monitors, the entire real estate of both monitors, and I can't get out of the player, I can't execute Task Manager, there's no way to kill it without a forced reboot of the computer. And that happened once, about a month or two ago on stream, and I had to unfortunately terminate the stream a little earlier than expected because there was no choice but to forcefully reboot the computer. So we want to avoid crashes as much as possible. So I'm temporarily disabling that. I'm just going to write the note for myself. That way I can remember to go back in and remove that debug line that we put in there once we eventually resolve that issue. Alright, so we got that in place. Now let's see what we can work on today. What we could do is I could play around a little bit with the table layout. So there's a few things that I wanted to do in order to improve. I mean, I'm kind of locked in with the current layout, so I don't want to make any major changes to the layout, but there needs to be some tweaks made to some of the items on the table. Particularly ramps are one of them. The right ramp in particular needs to be adjusted. The left ramp is fine. The squiggly for the left ramp is not too steep for the ball. The ball goes up the ramp, comes through here. The squiggly slows it down a little bit without slowing it down too much, and then it comes out down here into the in lane. However, on the right ramp, the squiggly is too steep. It slows the ball down too much, and then it takes a little bit too long for the ball to come out of the ramp and into the in lane. The ideal amount of time for the ball to complete the ramp and come out through the in lane is just under 2 seconds. It should not take any more than about 1.5 to 2 seconds for the ball to complete the entire ramp. And it takes a little bit longer on the right ramp sometimes because the squiggly is too steep. So what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out the squiggly and make it less steep. However, I may add an additional point in here to compensate because when we decrease the steepness of the squiggly, that will mean that it will be less effective at slowing the ball down. So I may add a third one in here. So we got one squiggly, two squiggly, I guess 2.5 technically. This ramp has one. Oh, this one has 2.5 as well. Okay. I guess we might not need to add a new one now that I've observed that, but we definitely need to decrease the steepness of the squiggly. So we're just going to do this. Decrease the squiggly slope a little bit, just like that. Now, the right ramp kind of has a tilt over to the left in order to get over there into the right in lane. Although the left ramp kind of does the same thing. So if you were to draw a straight line, it kind of has a little bit of a left bank. And this ramp does the same thing. So we might be okay with that. This one has the squigglies pretty close together. So we might do that on this ramp as well. So this ramp is a little bit longer than the left ramp. I may go ahead and add an additional squiggly in there anyway. Just because this one is a little bit longer than the left ramp. Oop, I don't want to drag the whole thing over. I just want to add a squiggly. So we're going to bring this point down a little bit. Alright, now let's kind of tidy this up a bit. I'm going to kind of use the grid as a guide, so our points are in the middle of each square. Except we are going to be going on that leftward slope, so we want to kind of move them over to the left a little bit by little bit. We want to keep them in the center of the square. Actually, the bottom squiggly might need a little bit more leeway considering gravity. Okay, how many squares do we have? 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom. So 1, 2 at the top. We're gonna move it over, and then 1 at the bottom. Slowly moving it over. Bit by bit, although they can't be too close together because then the smoothing, it doesn't create the smooth, it doesn't smooth out, at least in the editor. I don't know if it will, like, if you get it too close then they become jagged in the editor. I don't know if it does the same thing in the actual table when you play it. We'll have to find out. And then yeah, so down here it kind of smooths out a little bit. Bring that down a little bit. And now I think we have a proper snake. Now the question is, because we added an additional point in here, does that mean that we're not actually going to benefit with additional, like, is the ball going to still take just as long to go through? So I'm afraid it might still take a little too long to get through, but now that I think about it, I mean, the right ramp is longer than the left ramp. So obviously the ball is going to take longer to get through. And we don't, I mean, as much as I want to speed the ball up so that it takes just as long to get through the right ramp as it does to the left ramp, we run the risk of the ball flying off the ramp if we do that. So we have to compromise. We have to make compromises. Alright, the next thing we need to do is adjust the ramp guides to follow this new pattern. We could probably delete one of these points. Need to make sure that they have about equal distance at each point away from the ramp. This is getting a little too close, so we want to adjust it just like that. Move that point down a little bit. Okay, we might need to add a point here. Drag that up a little bit. I see, the thing about Saving Wallden, at least for the time being, is that I'm not aiming for perfection right now in terms of measurements or anything like that. We just want them to be semi-close, but they don't need to be perfect. At some point when the table becomes more complete, and I hopefully have more contributors who know table layout better and everything like that, and know how to really perfect the alignment of objects on the VPX editor, then we might revisit and line everything up better. But for the time being, we're just being a little crude with our methodology here. Okay, we're going to need another point there. We might need 2 points, actually. Because I need to adjust this curve right there. And there we go. And then that ends up at the end there. Now we come back and we do the one on the right. This one's already quite a bit off compared to the left one. A little closer to the ramp than the left one was. So we need to space that out a little bit. Okay. This is very meticulous. Just got to line the points up. We want to keep roughly equal distance from the ramp. Now, believe it or not, these are actually ramps as well, but they don't function. We don't use them as ramps, but we use the ramp object in a VPX to create these guides, these wire guides for the ramp. And these are functional wire guides, so they actually have physics to them, and they will help keep the ball in play when the ball travels through the ramp. Hello, Laughing Chipmunk. You had to clean up cat barf. Oh boy. That seems to be a daily occurrence for you, but I mean, that's not surprising considering that you got 9 cats. Who was it this time? Bit. She seems to be a regular barfer. She's one of one of the regulars. Should have named her Bartholomew. That's a double pun there. I think your autocorrect kind of messed up there. All of them are regular barber shops. Yeah. Your 9 cats will cut your hair for $5. We'll give you a perm for $10. You might, yeah, you got the joke. Gonna need to add another point right here because of how this ramp is curved. Oh, I think we pretty much got it. Okay. There we go. Now the right ramp looks a lot better. At least in the editor. Let's make sure that hopefully we don't have any issues with any wall collisions or anything. Typically a ramp is always going to be higher than the walls, but I am going to go ahead and just do a test just to make sure. Give me 1 second here. Alright, we're going to give this ramp, or at least we're going to try and give this ramp a little test.
Scope it connected.
Let me do a quick visual inspection of the ramp.
In progress. Would you like to resume? Press the action button now to resume.
Looks like the ramp is okay.
Choose your...
What? God's name was that? I think we better go investigate.
The flashing target for the skill shot. Often they call you the chosen one. Really? Shoot the flashing letters.
Ooh, I have a lot of lag today.
So where's the start objective?
I have a lot of input lag today. This is not going to be good. I have a good 200 milliseconds between when I push the button and when the flipper actually comes up. Okay, ball's up in the ramp. It is a little slow, but it is smooth. It's a lot smoother than it used to be.
Over here, newborn dwellers, I have some important intel for you.
Well, that was lucky.
Hello, comrade. I'm Dave the Royal Trainer. As you may have noticed, the town of Wallden is walled in. A vile beast wants to overthrow the king and queen and take over the village. You are but a novice. Before you can face the beast, you must learn how to fight. Allow me to train you. Let's begin our first session. Let me teach you how to build fire.
Shoot a green shot to pour flammable pitch. Then shoot an orange shot to start a fire.
Of course it would go down that out thing. But I have debug mode on, so it's okay. Yeah, this input lag is really going to be...
It's the little rascal who took all my pitch.
I'm thinking about adjusting the amount of time that you have for these training sessions, because like when you're first playing the game, first starting out, I think 30 seconds may be too short. It just goes by so quickly. You barely have any time to do anything.
Rain in Spain stops only to train.
Some of the puns in this game are pretty entertaining. I think I might also increase combo shot timer. I think 5 seconds might not be enough time for the combo shots as well. I might increase that to 7 seconds. There's just little things like that that I am trying to observe. When I first created this pinball game, I think I made it, or when I first started creating this game, I think I made it quite a bit too hard. I mean, my end goal was to make this game pretty hard, but I don't want to make it too hard.
Learn to charge up your spell before you cast.
Shoot the yellow shot to cast your attack. Shoot the spinner for more power.
And that train light should not be lit after starting a training session. I still have no idea why it's not going off. I also noticed, I think I have sound lag as well since I'm using Bluetooth.
Training is almost as
Today.
good as vodka.
So that is also throwing me off quite a bit. I think the HP multi-ball lock should have
Power
been...
collected. Deploy it with the action button.
The HP multi-ball lock should have lit. That'll be another bug that we'll have to figure out. It is, okay. But at least the orbit knows that the HP multi-ball lock is ready. I noticed that the diverter opened up when I sent the ball up, so it tried to lock it. Just the lock light itself did not light. At this point, the game would have been over for me if I didn't have debug mode on. About 4 or 5 balls in, that's when you lose all your health. I think I'm going to stop there. Alright, Alright, so we have we figured out a couple of other bugs that we need to fix. The first one being, the train light needs to turn off when we actually begin a training session. And I could have sworn I thought I tried to fix this at one other point, but apparently it did not get fixed. So we are going to have to figure that out. So I'm going to search by the name of the light. What is this? Update shot lights. Okay, so update shot lights is what is responsible for updating that scoop light. Okay, so now what we need to do is look to see when we call update shot lights. So we call it in, I mean, we should be calling it in, excuse me, start mode. And see, this is the start mode routine right here. Going way up, way up. Here it is. Here, okay, yeah. So, we're calling it after all of the logic for starting a mode. A training session, so the train light should be turning off. Oh, but maybe this is the problem. I see it. I see the bug. We're only turning the training light off if we're currently in normal mode. But when we run start mode, we're actually starting something else, and we're not in normal anymore when this routine gets called. So this whole thing doesn't even get called. So the thing for the training light should I put it in the called from start mode? I don't think I should. I should put it up here. So whenever we call update shot lights, we turn the training light off regardless of the current mode. And then if we're in normal mode, then we actually check to see if we are ready to start the training session. So that should resolve that bug. Go ahead and save. The other bug is that the HP multi-ball lock light is not lighting when we complete progress on the drop targets. So we need to look into that as well. So we're going to search by its name, update left orbit lock light. We'll go ahead and do, so that's the routine we need to call. And we need to call it when we complete the drop targets. The HP drop targets. I believe that would... I have caps lock on. I believe that would be in the do switch method. So we need to look for the HP targets. Here they are right here. If all the targets are dropped, and here we go, right here. If we progress, HP multi-ball progress, then we have this case, and we should be calling update to left orbit lock light at this point, so that we can ensure that the lock light gets flashing. We had to do the same thing for the ding wall, because if you hit the little leaf switch behind the targets, that also progresses your progress towards lighting the HP multi-ball lock. So we also need to put the update to left orbit lock light here as well. And actually I had a to do right here, so that essentially I can get rid of the to do now that I think about it, because that's exactly what I was supposed to do and never did. However, I am going to put a new to-do in here, because at some point I want to create some sort of luck is lit sequence to let the player know, like on the DMD and through a call out, that the HP multi-ball lock is ready. So we'll just stick a little to-do in there as well. And we'll save. Now, I am going to restart the Visual Pinball, because if I do this, if I periodically restart the Visual Pinball, then it will be less likely to freeze when it crashes. If it crashes, or if there's like a script error or something like that. Now what I want to do, let me think here. What else did we want to do? We wanted to increase the amount of time for combo shots. Because I felt like it was too short. 5 seconds was too short for combo. Was it just named combo? Is that what the name of the clock was? Yeah, it was just combo, so we could put this in quotes and we should be able to find it much more easily. here it is. Here's one of them, so we'll extend that to 7 seconds right there. Again, 7 seconds instead of 5. We need to update the little blink thing. So light interval by time is a special routine that I use, or a special method that I have in here that updates the speed at which the lights flash according to how much time is left. It's a really cool feature. And so what you do is you, in the method, when you call it, you first pass in the light itself as the first parameter. You pass in the amount of time that's left as the second parameter, and then the amount of time that you had, the cap, the max amount of time, I guess you would call it, as the third parameter. And then what it would do is it would take, it would divide the second parameter by the third parameter to get kind of like a percentile, and then it would multiply that to a blink interval, and then that determines how fast the light will flash. It's actually really cool, really intuitive, because then it lets the player know that they are starting to run out of time for something. So here's the actual method right here. It's very simple actually, just a few lines. So milliseconds, so if we have more than 0 milliseconds left on the clock, and if it's less than upper value, then we adjust the blink interval starting at 333 milliseconds, so one blink every 1/3 second, and then we subtract an amount according to how much time we have left. The less time we have, the more we subtract, and the light will flash as fast as every 33 milliseconds if we're just on the verge of timing out. Otherwise, if we still have quite a bit of time, we just default to one blink, or actually 3 blinks every second. So that's how that method works. And this is something that I rarely ever see people do something like this on an original pinball table. So I'm actually quite happy that, you know, this, I mean, I'm happy that I have it, but I also I want to see other pinball developers who are developing original pinball tables. I want to see them use something like this as well, because it helps so much to have the light start speeding up as your time runs out for something. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and save. I don't know if we got through the entire script for searching. If we got all of the types for combo. Okay, I think we did. So combo shots are now 7 seconds instead of 5. I'm just going to put we're going to put that in our change log down here. Alright, so fixed issues with train and left orbit lock lights not cooperating. Increase combo shots to 7 seconds. And I don't think we're going to work on increasing the mode time just yet. I have to really think about that one. So again, as I mentioned earlier, not too long ago, one of the other issues that I want to consider is increasing the amount of time that you have for a training session. in the beginning of the game, you only have 30 seconds per training session, and I don't think that's enough time because it goes by so quickly and you barely have any time to do anything. For some training sessions, 30 seconds is okay because you can select the action required to earn points, may be very easy and very quick to do. But there are other training sessions, like with the Kung Fu combos, for instance, where you have to shoot either a ramp or a loop and then shoot another ramp or a loop within 5 or 7 seconds, I forget which one. It's a really difficult training session. And you are much more likely to end it with only 0 points if you only have 30 seconds. And what ends up happening is, then when you get 0 seconds in the training session, you take a penalty and your drain damage goes up. And that means that you take more health damage whenever you drain your ball. However, there are some issues as well with increasing the amount of time, particularly when it comes to the power-ups. So when you collect all 6 gems on the table by shooting each of the 6 shots in the order that is displayed according to the triangle gem light, the blue gem light, you ready a power-up, and you deploy that power-up by hitting a special button. If you deploy the power-up while you're playing a training session, then you enter a 2-ball multi-ball. And what ends up happening is the remaining time that you had in the training session then it becomes ball shield time. So your balls come back into play if you drain them during that time. If I were to increase the mode time for training sessions, then that means when somebody triggers the power-up, they would also have more ball shield time. Another issue, I mean, that's not too much of an issue. I would just have to be mindful about the threshold at which the number of points that you earn within the training session, which then awards you a reduced drain damage. But there are a couple of modes or training sessions in particular that I am worried about if I were to increase the amount of time for the training sessions. One of them being stealth mode. Although, again, with the stealth, the way the stealth mode works is that you're supposed to not hit anything on the table, you're not supposed to flip your flippers, but also you're not supposed to drain your ball either. It's one of those, it's a really difficult balancing act. You're basically trying to keep quiet by not hitting anything, and the more stuff you hit, the less points that you get. But even then, now that I think about it, that particular mode has a separate timer. So even if I increase the amount of time on the mode, the stealth sequence itself is still only going to be 15 seconds. So the way it works is there's like a little counter that displays like how many points you would get. Of course you won't comment on the ball comment. There's like a display of how many points you would get if the 15-second sequence were to end. Anyway, every 15 seconds the sequence restarts. You collect the points that are displayed on the display, and then that value resets back up to its maximum. And you do it again for the next 15 seconds. So even if I increase the amount of time for the training session, it shouldn't As long as I increase it by an increment of 15 seconds, it shouldn't affect the stealth mode, because like I said, we're not increasing the amount of time that we're not increasing the sequence time, because the sequence time is 15 seconds. We're just adding an additional sequence. So like instead of doing it 2 times, you might do it 3 times if we increase the training time to 45 seconds. I'm just trying to think if there's any other training sessions where we could potentially have an issue if we increase the time. Now that like I'm running through the logic and talking it out loud with everybody and kind of thinking it through, I don't think we're going to have any major issues if we increase the training session time. The biggest thing that I can think of is just it would slightly increase the risk that you drain a ball during a training session. I don't like, because when you're in a training session, you can't progress anything else in the table. That would probably be my other concern. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this a little bit more, and if we want to increase the time. My line of thinking is currently, so I'll explain. The current timing on the training sessions is in level 1, you get 30 seconds. So that's the first 3 training sessions. Then level 2, in the second group of 3, you get 45 seconds. And then in the third level, you get 60 seconds each for each training session. My thinking is to increase that by 15 seconds. So it would be 45 for the first level, 60 for the second level, 75 for the third level, and then there's a fourth level as well. And we would make that, well, we would have to be careful with the fourth level, because the fourth level is always an automatic 2-ball multi-ball. So maybe for level 4, we keep it at 75 seconds instead of adding another 15 seconds and making it 90. Just because it's a 2-ball, an automatic 2-ball multi-ball. Because if we increase it to 90, then you have a minute and a half of ball save, and that's quite a bit. I mean, 75 is also quite a bit as well. But level 4 is quite the accomplishment. And by that point, you have already completed the objective anyway, and level 4 is just basically a bonus. And it takes quite a bit to start a training session in level 4. So it's not something that's going to happen regularly. Alright, I need to take a break, so it is the top of the hour anyway, so we will be back in about 5 minutes on this development stream of Saving Wallden, so stick around and we will continue our development.
In what year was the video game company Electronic Arts founded? Type 1 in the chat to vote, 1999. Type 2 in the chat to vote, 1982. Type 3 in the chat to vote, 1981. Type 4 in the chat to vote, 2005. 10 seconds left to submit your answer. Time is up. The correct answer was 1982.
Which of these is not a song by Pegboard Nerds? Type 1 in the chat to vote, Swamp Thing. Type 2 in the chat to vote, Emoji. Type 3 in the chat to vote, Wi-Fi Tears. Type 4 in the chat to vote, BAMF. Ten seconds left to submit your answer. Time is up. The correct answer was Wi-Fi Tears.
Alright, welcome back to our development stream. We are working on Saving Wallden, which is an original Visual Pinball X pinball game that you can download off of itch.io if you want to give it a try. Just go to, actually, if you go to my website, orqata.live, and you click schedule, scroll down to Saving Wallden, and there's a button right there for itch.io, and that will take you to the itch.io page right here, where you can read up a little bit more about the game, or at least some of what I have in store or planned. And then you can also download it. It asks you if you want to contribute a donation. If you contribute a donation, that will help fund the time that I spend working on this table, but it is not required. And then you get taken to the downloads, and you can download the game. And it tells you that you need Visual Pinball X in order to run it, and it suggests that you use the Pinup Popper Baller installer in order to install it. Alright, so I've given more thought to the whole issue of how much time you have for the training sessions. In most modern pinball games, they don't do 30 seconds. They do longer for sequences and things like that. I really think the current timing that I have is not enough time. So we'll go ahead and increase the time a little bit. I think I don't even think it's in start mode. I think I have a different method in the script. It's not update train lights. Not check training ready. Training ready. Start training mode. I think this might be it. Actually, no, it doesn't look like this is it. Oh, actually, it might be in the sub in here. If we're doing training modes, that would be this code block. Reset mode tracking to music. Here it is. Here's the timing for the training sessions. So as I mentioned, 30 seconds for level 1, we'll increase that to 45, level 2 will increase that to 60, and level 3 will increase that to 75. And then again 75 for you know what, do we want, yeah, I guess we'll leave it at 75 seconds for the bonus phase. Now, I'm just thinking a little bit. Now that we increase the time, I think we also have to increase the threshold a little bit for how many points you need in order to get that reduction in your drain damage. Give me 1 second here while I try. Oh, here we go. The training great job threshold is defined here. So let me think here. If we increase the amount of time by 50%, then we should probably increase these by 50%. So 10 million becomes 15 million, 17,500,000 becomes 20 million. 25 million becomes 35 million. 40 million becomes 50 million. Wait. No. 15, 20, 25. And then we want this one to be a little bit more. We'll do 40. I'm still thinking. Let's see, 15 million for 45, 60, 20, 40, 60, 25, 50, 75. That makes sense. Okay. 25, 50, 75. What's half of 75? So 25 is 1/3 of 75. What's half of 75? 3750. Let's do that for level 4. 37,500,000. Okay, now we're going to do some testing to kind of get a feel for this and see if I like the timing of everything. So again, I have debug mode on, so it's just going to keep kicking the ball back in play.
Scope it connected.
A game with shoot.
What in God's name was that?
I think we better go investigate.
The flashing target for the skill shot. Better luck next time.
Over here, Newtown dwellers, I have some important intel for you.
Shoot the flashing letters and spell words. Spell words to start objectives.
I don't know if the 7 seconds for combo is also going to translate to starting the combo. I can't remember if that's a separate timer or not. Yeah, I think I like the 7 seconds better for combo, because it gives you a little bit more time to actually do something, especially if the ball goes up like a ramp or something pretty slowly. Gives you more time for the ball to come out and for you to make another attempt at another combo. So I just calculated 2.5 seconds with that ramp, which is quite a bit, if you think about it. This input lag is getting to me. Alright, our
Hello,
first
comrade.
training session.
I'm Dave. Dave the Royal
First
Tornado.
test with the 45-second timer instead of
the town
30.
of Wallden is walled in. A vile beast wants to overthrow the king and queen and take over the village. You are but a novice. Before you can face the beast, you must learn how to fight. Allow me to train you. Let's begin our first session. The difference between good weapon and great weapon is Russian magic.
Oh, I'm going to have to get I thought I had a narrator or instruction call out for this one, but I guess not.
This weapon is now powered by communism.
Communism is always good. Now, I would have if I didn't have debug mode on, I would have ended the training session with 0 at that point and lost my ball. Okay, HP multi-ball lock light is now working as it should, which is good. And you can lock in the middle of a training session as well. And it pauses the timer as well until the ball comes back out.
That was bad performance, comrade. Training makes you strong, not training makes you ill-prepared.
I think 45 seconds might be better. I still didn't do anything or get anything done because I'm horrible. But I didn't feel as rushed.
I have an amazing new attack to teach you. I used it on
Well, that was a lucky shot right there.
Sometimes instinct is your best weapon.
The spinner scrambles the value for the yellow shot.
Shooting everything that I don't want to shoot now.
Your instinct
Oh yeah,
serves you well,
2,700,000 with that one. That was a good one.
Aura collected. Deploy it with the action button.
Alright, we can use the power up on our next training session to turn it into multi-ball.
Bonus multiplier.
Walden, you train to learn. In my country, you learn to train.
Ooh, I think we have another bug. That ball should, or that diverter should have opened for the HP multi-ball lock, but it didn't. Yeah, we got another bug. Alright. I think what happened is the HP multi-ball lock progress went to -1 when it shouldn't have, and now the ball won't lock. Because I progressed beyond what I needed to at the drop targets because I hit the leaf switch twice. Alright, training
Learn to
session
charge
number
up
3,
your
and we're
spell
going to
before you
activate the
pass.
power-up this time.
Shoot the yellow shot to cast your attack. Shoot the spinner for more power.
Great work. Say, you don't have to spell to make me more handsome, do you?
I can't keep balls in play worth of shit. You know what? I think we're going to stop testing there. I'm I'm getting fed up with how many times I'm draining the balls, and I got what I needed out of that test. So, we still have other bugs to fix. As I mentioned, I noticed that progressing beyond what you need to progress for HP multi-ball causes the lock to not work anymore. And we need to figure out why. So, we need to go back to the do switch method. And we need to find where we handle the HP targets, which is right here. If all the targets are dropped, then we add score. If HP multi-ball is a 0, which means not in play, then we add the HP. If current player HP multi-ball is greater than 0, then we progress. Okay. Okay, I see the issue. This if condition doesn't exist on the leaf switch. So we were ending up with a negative number there with the HP multi-ball progress. Now I am also going to just for safekeeping, we're going to go modify is HP multi-ball lock ready. This is the function that determines if, you know, there's a lock ready and we can lock the ball. Okay, that should work fine, because if it's a negative number, then this wouldn't execute. I wonder if the issue isn't... So this look, the code for the is HP multi-ball lock ready check is fine, but I wonder if the issue is in the switch for the left orbit. Particularly left orbit A. So this would be... It's not there. Of course not. What did I name it? Did I name it orbit? That's for combo shots. Left orbit complete. No. 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 Entered in orbit. Here we go. Yeah, this is the issue. There should be, is HP multi-ball lock ready? We should, that's a thing that I forgot to change. It needs to use this new function that I have for accurately determining if our HP multi-ball lock is ready to go. Because it checks for current mode, it checks for progress, if we're already in a HP multi-ball, and so on and so forth. So that was the actual issue right there. It was the left orbit not checking HP multi-ball progress correctly. Alright. Let us do another test.
Scope it connected.
A guy shoes.
God's name was that?
I think we better go investigate.
Hit the flashing target for the skill shot.
You blithering idiot, you missed your shot.
Shoot the flashing letters to spell words. Spell words to start objectives.
Gonna do a restart here.
Scope it connected.
A guy shoot.
What? God's name was that?
I think we better go investigate.
Hit the flashing target for the skill shot.
You blithering idiot, you missed your shot.
Shoot the flashing letters to spell words. Spell words to start objectives.
This input lag is really pissing me off. I had to reinstall my graphics drivers recently. I'm thinking that that is what's causing the lag. Because my settings changed. Yeah. Let me see if I can fix this. Gonna have to... Yeah, this input lag is unacceptable. Gee, I wonder who did the blithering idiot thing. Yeah, that was you. Laughing Chipmunk is one of the voice actors in the game, since the original voice actor for the narration, like the instructions and stuff, she unfortunately passed away to COVID. Alright, let me see if I can reduce... We're going to disable anti-lag on my graphics card, see if that may be what's causing the issue. We're gonna limit our max FPS to 60. There should be... some sort of frame pacing or something. I guess AMD doesn't do that on the hardware end. Oh, here we go. Adaptive sync. This is weird. What's the difference between adaptive sync and FreeSync Premium? That is so weird. Okay, let's see if that did any good.
Scope it connected.
I have joke air messages, and if you get
Again,
the
with
Switch
progress. Would you
2000%
like to
daily
resume?
value,
Press the action button now to
it's the number of
resume.
calories
Choose
that
your
people have to
difficulty.
eat in a day's time. 2000. What? God's name was that? I think we better go investigate.
Hit the flashing target for the skill shot. Better luck next time. Shoot the flashing letters to spell words. Spell words to start objectives.
That made everything worse. Okay, let's revert. Disable that. Disable that. We're going to leave frame capping on. See if maybe that helps.
Scope it connected.
Again, shoot.
What? God's name was that? I think we better go investigate.
Hit the flashing target for the skill shot. Skill shot!
That was very lucky there.
Shoot the flashing letters to spell words. Spell words to start objectives.
Over here, Newtown dwellers, I have
Still
some
have
important
input lag.
intel for you.
But I don't, I was having a little bit of input, I was still having the input lag plus the jitter previously before I reverted, so at least I don't have the, it doesn't seem like I have the jitter anymore, but I still have the input lag.
Hello, comrade. I'm Dave the Royal Trainer. As you may have noticed, the town of Wallden is walled in. A vile beast wants to overthrow the king and queen and take over the village. You are but a novice. Before you can face the beast, you must learn how to fight. Allow me to train you. Let's begin our first session. Are you quick on your feet?
shoot the moving shot to choke the monster.
Terrible
was
with
bad
that one.
performance, Conrad.
Couldn't
Training
shoot
makes
the
you
worth of
strong.
shit.
Not training makes you ill prepared.
Now notice the combo shot timer paused during the lock sequence, so pretty much anything on a timer will pause when it needs to pause, which is really cool. You don't usually see that on original pinball tables.
Rain in Spain stops only to train.
Ooh, almost had it. Well, that was unlucky.
Sometimes instinct is your best weapon.
The spinner scrambles the value for the yellow shot.
I'm going to have to fix that wall over there because that wall, the wall guide for the left ramp seems to like to feed the ball to the left out lane. We can't have
Trust in your
that.
cut more, even if it regrets you eating turkey leg.
Stupid. Also, input lag again. If it wasn't for the input lag, that flipper would have gone down in time. Timing got a little off there. Ooh, and the lights didn't reset properly. I'll have to fix that as well. And that was a horrible HP multi-ball. Alright. Another bug that we need to fix is those lights. And the timing of that HP multi-ball sequence. Something delayed it. The music is supposed to line up with the light sequence. It's not supposed to do what it just did there. Okay, start the HP multi-ball, so that would be, so here's where the intro would start. We play the call out, which needs to be recorded. This is where we play the music. Yeah. This needs to go in a queue. So we'll put this in the queue. It needs to be in the same queue as the light show. That way it will line up properly. It needs to have the same priority as well. So priority, pre-queue delay, pre-delay, post-delay, time to live, execute now. I think those are the parameters. So script, key, script, priority, pre-queue delay, pre-delay, post-delay, time to live, whether to execute now. In theory, when we have it like this, it should stay on target. Now we have to fix the light's not resetting properly for HP multi-ball. So when we start HP multi-ball, we play a quick sequence. We activate the solenoids, we update lights and timers. Okay, hang on, do we... I'm thinking about this. See, in theory, this should work because we have both resetting light color and update shot lights and everything else. So why did it do what it did? I wonder if it's because of this. So this is in QB, which is in the same queue as the light sequence. Oh, I think I see what happened. I think we were... Okay. Again, I think it has to do with the fact that the music... Wait. No, I'm wrong. Because music wouldn't have anything to do with the lights. So no, that's not... Okay. That's not the issue. But it could still be an issue with the timing of the cue. So up here, we start the cue. Which is HP Multiball Intro 2. And then after 9 seconds, we start HP Multiball, the second part, where we actually start the HP Multiball. But in this case, QB was delayed, so HP Multiball 3 started before the light sequence was finished. And that was probably why we had that happen. Ugh. This is, Okay, there is a special thing that we can do. Cues have a special... I have a nice... It's pretty cool. We're going to utilize something. If I can type correctly. So, we have the VPWQ manager, which is something that I created. In the routine, or in the method for adding something into the queue, we have a post delay, which we could set to -1 to have an infinite delay until the do next item is called. So, what we could do... I really wish that we had the ability to use multiple script files. We could, but then what ends up happening is when you get an error, you don't get the line numbers or anything like that. So it's really unfortunate. But so we have to keep everything in one file. But then I have to... What ends up happening is when you do that, you have to keep going back and forth in the script. It's really annoying. But anyway, okay, so here's what we can do. We're going to set the post delay to -1, which means that this line is going to freeze after it starts the intro. It's just going to, the queue is going to freeze. And then what will happen is we could add a QB item in here. Which then triggers the main queue's do next item, which then triggers start HP Multiball 3. So essentially what happens is the main queue triggers the intro for the HP Multiball, then it pauses, the queue freezes, QB runs with the intro sequence and the music, and then once QB is finished, it will then call the main queue's do next item, which then unfreezes the main queue, and then the main queue goes to start the HP Multiball. That is the idea, but I have never done this before. I have only coded it in, I've never actually used it, So we're going to have to test this to ensure that it's actually going to work. What we need to do in order to properly test this is we need to go to the game tracking variables, and we need to edit this balls locked 2 to trick the game into thinking that we've already locked 2 balls. That way when we lock an HP multi-ball ball, it will instantly start HP multi-ball, and then we can test to make sure everything is working. Alright, let's see what we got.
Scope it connected.
A game was in choose your
What in God's name was that?
I think we better go investigate.
Pick the flashing target for the skill shot. Often they call you the chosen one. Really? Shoot the flashing letters to spell words. Spell words to start objectives.
It'll be just my luck that we'll be here all night, waiting for me to get that left orbit. There we go. Okay, it seems to work. The GI needs to be fixed. So the GI is not red like it should. The GI is completely off. So I'm going to have to see what the issue is with that. So it's almost working. I'm just going to change these back to 2 because we don't have time to test, do any more testing today, because it is almost, we are almost at the 2-hour mark for today's stream. But, what was I going to do? Right. I did not want to close the script. What I wanted to do is see why the GI lighting did not turn on. I'm thinking. Okay, so we turn off the GI up here, and we don't even turn it on. So that was a complete oversight on my end. But we only want to change the GI to red if we are in normal mode. And we're going to change them to red at 100. I forgot the level parameter. 100 the brightness. But we need to do, let's see, when we expire HP multi-ball, we reset the objective lights, we reset the music, and we're going to reset the GI as well. And I honestly forget. I think it's base. B-base. I think that's the name of the constant that we use. Yes, it is. B-base is kind of like a warm white. Alright, we will make a note of what we did in the changelog down here. Oh, I already did combo shots. We increased train time, increased number of points needed in the train to reduce rain damage. Fixed HP multi-ball intro sequence light show issue. Adjusted right ramp return. The return is the part of the ramp that returns the ball to the in lane. Okay, we will save our changes and call it a stream there. So, thank you everybody for tuning into today's stream of Saving Wallden development. For the rest of April, I am streaming Sundays, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is Composer CMS development. So that is a free and open source software that you can use to build your own websites. And then Fridays, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when we do Saving Wallden development, which is what we did today. So this is for the rest of April. My May streaming schedule should be released within the next day or two. If you want to get a heads up as to what my streaming schedule is going to be in May, you could join my Discord. So go to orqata.live, that's my website, and you could click the Discord button and join the Discord server, and you will get notified of my new streaming schedule. I will also post it on X, so you could check out X as well. And of course, it will be in the info panel on my Twitch channel as well. If you want to learn more about me and what I do and everything, you could check out the Orqata.live. If you enjoy the content, consider making a donation to Stripe or subscribing to the Discord server. Because the financial contributions would then help me be able to stream more often for you. And you also get some perks like the ducats. You get ducats which you can use on redeems, like the sound effects and everything, which by the way, you can find out more about those on the website as well. Just click redeems in the menu. It'll tell you how to earn ducats. And then it tells you all of the redeems that you could use on the channel and what they do, what the command is to execute them in the chat, and how many ducats they cost. And of course, you use the command ducats to see how many of the ducats that you have. if you enjoy the Saving Wallden project, look in the chat. OrqataBot just posted a link there, orqata.itch.io/Wallden. That is where the project is currently living or residing. You could go over there to download the latest release or test release of Saving Wallden and give it a try yourself. If you are interested in being a voice actor, artist, musician, or other contributor for the project, then be sure to give me a mention in the chat before the stream actually ends. Or you can email me at orqata@orqata.live. I would love to have your talent and your creativity in this game. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and pull up raid pools now, and we're going to use raid pools, which is a website that helps you find people to raid. I think their website might actually be down today. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, let me go to... Let's do this the old-fashioned way. Let's see if any followers are currently connected to Twitch, and see if we can raid anybody. Okay, I do have one person we can raid. PG Kamai. So we will raid them once we end the stream. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you Sunday, 3 to 5 p.m.